podcast to share about raising me. Me and him were invited to another podcast together as a father-daughter duo to talk about our relationship and depression. And even the fact that my dad also came out to me, I was like, I also deal with depression. And I go, so it was like, and these are conversations you need to know. Like, our parents also have mental health struggles, but we look at our parents like heroes. They can't do anything, but we need to also be there for them in their mental struggles, just as they need to be there for us. So have those conversations with your people. You never know who's struggling.
Welcome back, everybody, to another exciting show of the About That Water podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Weaver, where we help the sandwich generation build strong financial habits. One of the people that I have on is somebody that's so energetic, has always a great smile, and has actually welcomed me into the podcast community. And I want to thank her so much by bringing her on and actually share her energy with you all. And her name is Paula Sima. How you doing today, Paula?
Hey, good. Thank you so much for having me. You can't believe it when you asked me to be on your podcast was like the highlight of my January. So technically, you're the first person I'm guesting in on 2025, and I plan to be very picky on the podcast I got to this year because I'm taking a backseat on podcasting. So this is exciting for me. And fresh out of recovery.
Yeah, because we were supposed to record before, but you're under the weather. Actually, it's coming from what Podfest, I believe.
Oh yeah, kids, grown-ups, kids, whoever is listening to this, sometimes listen to your body. You're not as young as you used to think. So doing things you used to do 4 years ago in a conference might not work 4 years later. So that's what happens when you overdo it and you come back home and you get sick, and very sick. I have been in bed for almost 2 weeks now.
Jeez. And do you ever figure out like what it was?
Well, first thing, which is funny, you will find funny, it happened when I was with you in Podcast Movement. I don't know, this thing about me falling should be examined.
Yes.
So, of course, I did fall twice at Podfest, and I was with the same teams. That's why I say these motherfuckers every time I'm with them. Shout out to the Moped boys. I love y'all. But so I fell down twice, but I'm a person who never feels pain in the moment. Like, you remember when I fell at Podcast Movement, the first thing I was like, can I get a beer? Like, yes, I was just like, let's get back to the mood. Like, no hospitals, no nothing. I hate hospitals. I hate unless I really feel it. And I normally don't feel it until I stop the movement because I'm always on the go. And then you come back home and you're like, and then I'm seeing all these bruises, and my toes were literally like popped up because apparently I pinched my, like, I was looking at my body like, I swear if somebody had seen me, they would think maybe I was abused, something like,
wow.
When people have marks in the mouth and they're being abused and hiding. Like, my body was filled with marks, which I was like, what the hell is going on? And then also drinking beer from morning to evening is not healthy if you're not drinking water in between. So I swear I will pay anybody who has a picture of me at Podfest without holding a beer. And again, I blame the Moped boys for constantly having beers for me. So there was that. I was drinking beer constantly, and I wasn't eating as much, even though I had access to as much food. I would literally go get a plate and bring it to my friends, like, hey, look what we have. And they're like, where did you get this? I'm like, don't worry where I got it. Eat.
Right.
But I am not eating myself. And I wasn't drinking enough water. So it was hydration. It was the sinus infection. Again, Florida was kind of cold, and later we just had the snow, which we normally don't. Florida was like, the weather was weird. So I think jumping into around that time with these weather conditions, I got a sinus infection. Then I had indigestion. It's just like and emotion. My body was really tired. Again, if you've met me at a conference, you know how I am at a conference. So the body was really exhausted. Until right now, my body is still trying to find back the energy, but the flu is gone, the cough is gone. You can tell because the last voice note I sent you, I was literally coughing more than. So I'm healing, but my energy is still getting slowly. But it was all those things. That's why I say you just because you look young or you feel young doesn't mean you're as young as you were before. And I looked at Joe and Mike and I was like, bruh, because I met them at Podfest in 2022 and we've been doing this shit since then. I'm like, bruh, we can't keep doing this. Because even the next morning, Joe was exhausted. By the way, it was also like Joe's birthday and Chessie's birthday. So it
Oh,
was like,
nice.
and this is my last Podfest because next year I won't be a Podfest. So I was trying to do everything like because to improvise for next year that I won't be here, which made me overdo it. So it was just a lot. I was doing a lot. I would be the first person to say I was doing a lot,
Right.
but in the me being me, at least the people who were there enjoyed it. And hey, I got promoted from mayor to governor of Podfest. I guess I was doing
Nice.
something right while drinking and
Well, it was in a long time coming because if you think about it, you're the first person I saw on Podfest promotion videos. And I was like, who is this person with all this energy and is like from Tanzania? And I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll see her in passing. Okay. So go to FinCon. And I was like, okay, I've seen her face before, but didn't say
we met
anything.
the podcast movement first.
Well, we met in person in podcast movement. Yeah, but I've seen you in passing at other events, at
Ah,
another event, I believe.
gotcha.
And it was my first time actually meeting you in podcast movement. Because it was like, certain people like you just kind of see them like, okay, well, this is maybe a one-time deal. They're gonna go hang out with the people that they know, and it's like a family reunion when you go to these events, and that's the reason why I like the in-person events more so than like how we have these conversations, but we also support each other virtually. But when it comes to in person, it's almost like, hey, I've known you for 20 years almost, it feels like, and it's such a great thing to have. And with that being said, because it's like your podcast is talking about, with your personal battle with depression and having those moments and seeing you're happy actually helps a lot more than what you think. I'm not sure if anybody ever told you that yet.
So, which I like that. But a lot of people come to me and be like, are you sure you're depressed? You fucking not depressed because I am constantly like, and which we are all, in the beginning, I used to not think I was depressed as well because of the person I am. I'm like, I'm constantly happy and trying to make people happy and cheerful. How can I be depressed? So I understand where they're coming from with it, right? But that's just me and the energy. And I can be like that in a room of people and still be dying inside. And that's why I put that out because I want that back to fill that void inside of me. And that's why when I go to these events, whether I know somebody or not, I give them the full me that I give to the people I've known 20 plus, I mean, 5, 6 plus years to a new person. People will tell you, I will hang out with people and people will come and be like, oh, how long? I just met her. I'm like, because that's who I am. Like, I don't like small talks. So when I meet people, I just go straight to that. And I like making people be very uncomfortable because I feel like when you make people uncomfortable, they get comfortable very easily. So I go straight with the perverted or weird questions, straight on into that digging in. And then either it will be like, damn, did she really say that? Wait, did you really? Or you'll be like, oh my God, she my kind of person because she goes straight in. And it helps you fit because if you get offended, on something, I literally ask, or anything that shows me you know my person, and that makes me not waste my time with you, because I don't like people get offended easily, because I offend. And my friends used to tell me, Paula, just because you say no offense and then you continue to offend us doesn't mean. I'm like, I'm literally to offend you, but I'm also like, the fuck, like.
You got to get it off your chest, And sometimes it's just like, you have that thought and be like, I want to say this, but I don't want to say this, but I feel like I'm gonna feel bad for not saying this at this moment.
And I learned that I rather say it and get it out, and we be. And I am very sarcastic, so you really have to. That's why I love this in-person events, because online you can't really read somebody's sarcasm if you don't know them, and I have this friend called Junaid. I don't know if you know him, Junaid.
Mm-mm.
Junaid is the perfect person if you're trying to get into home studio videos. Yeah, he helps and builds studios. He has a podcast
Oh,
called
good.
Hacks and Hobbies, over 500 episodes. He has that Go box where it's like a Go studio. You open the Go box and it comes with everything. They sell those. But Junaid has the most driest, sarcastic humor ever. If you read his comments on Facebook, you would think this person is writing from hate or anything, because you don't know him. But then when you sit with him and you actually get to know him, and then when you read his shit, you're like, oh, here we go. Like, you get it, because you have been in his presence and you have actually felt his energy and seen, like, that's just how he is. But sometimes online, when you read it, and everybody reads things in a different perspective, right? In a different attitude. I might write it in a funny way, but somebody coming from wherever, they might read it in a, oh, that was offensive, but I was just being funny or sarcastic. So that's why this in person, that I like going there, because people get to know me and they're like, oh, that's just Paula. Like these days when people hear things, or even when somebody goes and say, that short girl just came and said, they're like, oh, that's just Paula. She didn't mean it that way. Trust me. If she meant it in a bad way, you would know. And I like that, because people get to sense who you really are, that nothing gets taken out of context. And I am that person. Like, I am very sarcastic and I say shit, and I am very perverted. Like 4 years going on Podfest, where my badge is always have pervert at the end, so people can be aware, like, I'm the person who. But I do what's the thing you call, when people have sexual harassment and they say consent. I do
Oh, you
ask
need
consent
consent.
before I sometimes get into people's personal spaces, and so because I don't want to be Didi me too, whatever, all that crap going on. But I am all those things, and that's why I think I love Podfest, because it's a place where as really embraced and welcomed me, like all of me, my loud house. I don't know any conference that allows me to drink from morning to evening, and they still trust me to MC and host first timers and second timers, and for more part to allow me to be their ambassador and spokesman for them, with how they know. But because deep down they know who I really am,
Mm-hmm.
and I get the job done regardless. Like, I am a person who loves people, who loves connecting, who loves networking. Like, I love bringing people together. So it always comes in a good place. How it ends up, that's a whole other different thing. So, and that's why I tell people, if you deal with drunk Paula, go deal with drunk Paula. Don't bring drunk Paula into sober Paula, because sober Paula don't know shit. Okay?
That is true. I can attest that out. He was like, I don't know what you're talking about. That was yesterday. Because when you fell, you was like, I totally forgot about. Like the next day, I was like, do you? She was like, no, I don't know what to talk about. But we got footage, so
I came back for 2 weeks. He was constantly texting me, yo, are you good? Concussion. Are you good? I'm like, bruh, I'm good. And that's the thing. They love me so much that sometimes I feel like smitten by them, but it comes from a good place. But I'm the person who, like, and that's why I don't even hold grudges or anything. Like, once I let it out, That's it. You can be mad at me, but I'm not mad. Like,
Right, right.
you're wasting your anger. I'm still moving, baby. As long as that's why I like putting it out there, and that's why sometimes when I have shit to say for people who have been on Facebook, you have seen I've had moments where I literally go off for motherfuckers, and once I've already done that, like now it's out there. I'm good.
Yeah.
What's next, right?
Exactly. So, because mental health has been one of your main things. Why mental health over any other topic that you love to talk about?
Well, cause one, I'm a depressed as bitch, and two, I am Tanzanian, and in Tanzania, we really don't talk about mental health. And not only Tanzania, I was also around people who, when I was feeling certain way, and I would say, and I'd get the same shit, which was, this will pass. Oh, at least you have a roof over your head. Oh, you're gonna be fine. Oh, at least you. I get it. I am blessed and I'm happy that I have this because there are people out there worse, but my feelings still do matter. And I feel like some people don't speak up because of that, because of people keep on having this. Oh, you should be grateful you have this. Oh, you should, tomorrow is going to be a better day. Oh, blah, blah, blah. No. Right now, this is what I'm dealing with. I want to know. So I wanted people out there to know they're not alone. And also, again, it was the misconstructions on depression. Like when I came out with depression, a lot of people came to me saying they would never thought I had depression because of how I handled myself or I looked. And that's when I felt like it was important because people assume that you have to be in a dark room and sad or dressed up in crunchy clothes to be depressed. Like there's no look on depressed. People can be walking sanely and happy and still depressed. I mean, look at Avicii who killed himself. He was rich and money. The Katie, whoever, like all these billionaire rich people, actors, they have everything as well, but they still ended up killing themselves because of their battles with mental health. So you can have everything and still be sad because it's a mental thing. It's not what you have or what you don't have. It's the feelings in your mind that you're battling with, and that's where it was. And people needed to understand that. I lost my thought, but there was something I was gonna share. Yeah, there's this saying where and I used to be those people who used to think surrounding yourself with people would make you happy, right?
Mm,
And then until you realize you're in a room full of people, whether you love or hate them, but room full of people, and you're still lonely as fuck.
mm,
That shit is real. And that's why when people used to tell me, when I started being my own best friend and learning to, because I used to be a people pleaser, I wanted people constantly around me. So I would do whatever it takes to have people around me. And that was wasting my energy, my time, my money, because they really didn't want to be around me. I was just buying their presence. And
yeah.
I realized it wasn't filling me, and I had to learn how to be happy by myself. I had to learn how to be doing things by myself, to be okay to be alone, which most people fear. And my brother came to me and told me, Paula, these days you're so alone. Make sure you're not lonely. I'm like, you can be alone and not lonely, and you can be with people and lonely. And
Mm.
those are things people need to understand. So, if that answers the question on why mental health, that was why. Plus, at the time when my podcast started, I was battling my own very fucked up depression, which got, I don't know if without podcasting, I would have been able to get myself out of it
Mm.
because it was COVID going on. And back in my country, our president wasn't taking COVID serious. My dad had health issues, and to top of worrying about COVID and he's older. So that was depressing me. And then here there was Black Lives Matter, which was crazy. Then there was Asian Lives Matter. I lived in Asia for 5 years. I have friends I consider family who are Asian. So that was also, and then I was dealing with my own breakup, which I kind of didn't want to deal with, but when the world shut down, I had nothing but time to deal with. I'm overthink, I live in my head. So it was a lot of things going on, and I was drinking way too much. Now, I'm a drinker and I enjoy drinking, but there's a difference when you're drinking to have fun and drinking to numb the pain. When you're numbing the pain, you're just constantly drinking with no stopping because you don't want to stop. So that became worse. So I finally dealt with my breakup, and I went on Twitter when Twitter was Twitter, and I started talking shit.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody was like, you should start a podcast. And I sat down and I asked myself, if I did start a podcast, what would I want it to be? And I was like, what am I going through right now? I need to have this conversation. So my first episode was me opening up with all the shit that I was dealing with. And trust me, recording it was easy, but releasing it to the world, that was a whole other thing. I was fearing of judgment. Again, I'm African. I come from Tanzania. There's all these things of, oh, you're putting too much of the business out there. People don't need to know this, all that. Nobody talks about money because God forbid you're 35 and broke and living paycheck to paycheck.
Talk
Baby,
about
it's like
it.
a crime. So all those things, and I was letting all of them out, like, opening a Pandora box and just letting it fly. But then the most surprising thing happened is people started reaching out and telling me how they're dealing with the same, how they're grateful I spoken up because they are going through it, and we started having those conversations, and that's when I knew, you know what, I needed to create this safe space for people to feel safe to have these conversations, because we are shown about they're taboo. You can't talk about financials. You can't talk about your mental health. You can't talk about sex. You can't talk.
Yeah.
God, who said you can't? How do we get better if we can't have these conversations?
And
How do
that's
we heal?
and it goes back to like how is society is able to move forward if you're afraid to even talk about it, because with the movement now is like certain histories you don't talk about now. So like how do you deal with, well, you're only going to tell one side of it. Well, what about what was going on around that topic? It's
It's like,
like,
how do you cycle if you're not digging through? And that's why I tell people it's the same as, and this is why people are scared about therapy or working on themselves, because growth or working on yourself, which is something I'm still battling with and I've been doing, it's a process, because you'll have to dig, and as soon as you think you're better, you dig into something which opens all these other wounds, and you have to go deeper into them and figure them out. And people don't like knowing that, baby, sometimes you're the problem. People
that's
want to point fingers. People want to say, it's because of him I am broke. It's because of him I didn't get this. No, look into yourself. Why are all these people doing that to you? What is your problem? And I had to sit and constantly look, and I realized there was one time I came out and said, I realized I used to pride myself in thinking I am a good friend, like a great friend. And I realized I'm not a great friend. I'm a good person. But a great friend? Fuck no. I was lying to myself. And people kept asking me about Paul. I'm like, yes, I was doing things, but I was doing things hoping that my friends do them to me as well. That's not being a good friend. You're supposed to just do things. So there were certain things I was finding out, and that's why maybe I was getting mad at certain friendships, or certain friendships ended, because even though there was no that condition in me, I was putting those conditions without knowing and shit. And it takes digging deeper into why the fuck am I like this to realize certain things. So yeah.
Yeah. So what helped you find yourself? Like, were there books? Did you journal? Did you go to therapy?
So I believe it or not, I hate self-help books.
Okay.
I hate self-help books. And I read, but I read a lot of crime and autobiography books. I
Okay.
learn a lot from autobiographies because I like learning people's journeys, and that's why even when I pivoted my podcast from mental health to creative journeys and mental struggles, because I want to share people's creative journeys, because we always assume, oh, somebody just got there, like I want to be there, but you don't know what they went through to get
Mm.
there. So don't excuse your journey. Don't just think people just went to sleep and woke up and here they were, and
Exactly.
you want to be there, but you're not doing the work they did or more than they did to get where you're going. And that's why I love autobiographies. And I've always had this idea of my own autobiography in the future. So it's kind of also like research. But so it's just learning from people's journeys. I read a lot of autobiographies, but there's also this book. I forgot. Hold on. Pope Francis. It's funny. I hate Catholic. My parents are Catholic. Thank God I didn't grow up Catholic. But there's this very little book by Pope Pope Francis. I'll get the name of it. I don't know why I can't find it right now.
Yeah, he has several books.
I know, but there's this specific one, and I literally just found it the other day because I was getting interviewed, and that was part of the question, and I had it in there, but so that book really opened my eyes in a different way because he spoke in a very human way than like bleeding Christianity or Catholicism or anything. So that helped. But also therapy. I'm a firm believer in therapy. It took me, I went on and off to therapy, and I'm actually thinking right now about going back to therapy. But again, therapy is also exhausting because finding the right fit, it's just like relationship, right? You have to find the
Yeah.
right person who gets with you. But also I journal a lot. I do journal a lot, and I'm working on a new book journal coming out. But and one of the biggest thing was accepting that something was wrong with me and I needed help. And I think once you get there, even if you don't have access to therapy or to books, you will start digging into yourself. I'm a person who literally digs into myself. And I don't know if it's healthy or not, but that's why sometimes I don't sleep. I will lay at night and I'll be like, why didn't this work out? And then I'll go deep in, okay, I did this, they did this. What could have been done better? And then once I figure that out, I pray. I pray a lot. I have a very on and off relationship with God because growing up, I was forced into religion, Christianity. You're waking
Yeah.
up every Sunday to go to church, and you had to go to Sunday school, and you had to get communion, and you had to all that shit. And then I moved from home and went to college, and nobody's there to wake you up on Sundays to force you to church. So I took a back seat to like, God, who on Saturday we're turning up, we're too late. I am waking up on Sunday to go to church. And then when I started battling my depression, I remember me and my mom are not close. I'm more close to my dad. But something told me to call my mom.
Hmm.
And I called my mom and I started crying, telling her something is wrong with me. And one thing my mom said, she didn't dismiss it. She didn't try to understand it, which I'm grateful. All she told me was like, Paula, pray.
Hmm.
Pray and pray and pray, and God will give you the answers. And funny enough, I started praying and my heart felt less heavier the more I kept on praying. Like something is being lifted. So I have that Bible app on my phone. I read I look for plans that help me with what I'm going through, and they have mental health plans, they have self-esteem plans, they have all the plans you need, and you can read them with a friend, like send links and share, and you and your friends read together and discuss, so you can read by yourself. So that was one of the biggest tools. I started with that before even therapy.
Nice. Okay, so try to do it to kind of really know yourself before you actually go in and not waste your money for therapy. That makes
Because
sense.
if what are you going to tell them if you haven't really looked like, and because whether you say shit or not, that 1 hour they're gonna still charge you. So it's a list. And I tell people, don't waste the money unless you're really sure you wanna work on yourself. And that's why certain people come and say, oh, therapy doesn't work. No, baby, it's not that therapy doesn't work. Did you actually do the work? Because it requires you doing the work. It requires you having those conversations. It requires you looking deep in and doing those exercises and following through. And that's why I had to commit to myself first to do it by myself. And all those who say, oh, I have my girlfriends, I don't need therapy, trust me, I know too, but your girlfriends ain't gonna tell you shit unless your girlfriend is Paula. Because I will tell you the truth, and some of my friends hate me that much because I give it to them as it is, with as much love as I can. But also your friends isn't the same, and that's why you need to speak to a stranger, because they don't have loyalty to you. They don't care about your past. They don't care about hurting your feelings. They don't care about sugarcoating shit. You need somebody who's going to give it to you as it is. And that's why start with yourself, looking yourself in the mirror. And it's funny. I haven't told anybody yet. You get to see, you get to see this first. I'm working on a new project.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's that? It's because you got your background. There you go.
Oh, it's a new project called Come on, Shattered Mirrors. I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking at myself and cracks of mirrors breaking out. And last year, October, November, I was having a very hard time, and I spoke to, shout out to the High Hope Breakfast Club, Walter, Dominic, and StreamYard Chris. We call him StreamYard Chris. And they were helping me figure out what was going on with me. And they said something which stuck with me. So I started working on a project where I was literally picking everything that I was dealing with. Like, okay, today I'm feeling this. Then I would record a 20-minute episode. Why am I feeling that? What
Okay.
is going on? And then I write it in a book, and then I turned it into a journal, and then I did an exercise. So that helped. And that's why I said, after going through this, I'm like, now I'm ready to go back to therapy, because I know exactly where my pinpoints are and where the help needs. So don't just jump into therapy. First, look within yourself and
I
pray.
like that.
I think when you pray, it does bring that out of you. You start seeing what needs to be fixed.
And I think because you pray, it's like you're doing it in threes. So you're already thinking about it now that you're actually saying it, and then you're actually listening into it, because you're actually bringing it to light of what is actually either A, bothering you, or you're thinking about, and how you're actually going to navigate, or the logistics of this new feeling or this remapping of your brain for something that wasn't there or used to be there that isn't there anymore. And I think that is really good way to kind of deal with that mental health process. So I actually have a question of about, like, because we are working with the sandwich generation, and dealing with your parents, having this discussion and letting them know where you are as a person, as an adult, as a young, well, to them, in their eyes, I'm sure they still look at you as a little baby girl, but like, how was that conversation with them to kind of say, like, you know what, hey, this is how I feel, and I would appreciate you if you treat me this way, to set those barriers?
So I am blessed with incredible parents. My mom is still a typical African mom, but thank God we haven't lived together in 10 plus, no, 20 plus years. I
Okay.
haven't been in my mom's presence, so she can't tell me shit. I mean, even if she wanted to whoop me, she couldn't.
Right.
But so the first time when I came out with depression, right, I wanted to start this thing called Life with Paula. And I remember when I had the conversation with my mom about depression, um me and my mom really didn't dig deep into it. As I said, she didn't try to understand it. She just told me to pray. And we have never really sat down and had a conversation. Again, my mom chooses what she wants to be a part of, and and me and her are not close. So God forbid, if this was my brother, it would have been a whole other thing. She would have probably traveled to the moons to find cure for him, but that's a whole other conversation.
Right.
But as far as my dad, which was a little bit more hard, because I'm a government kid, right? Government kid means my family is in the government, so
Okay.
you have to be kind of very um very aware with what you put out there, because they take everything and attack you, especially when it's time of political stuff back home. But then again, I haven't been home a long time. And that's why most people are wondering why at one point my Facebook name was different. My Instagram, it was because I don't want my shit to interfere with the political stuff. Because one thing is for sure, my family knew from a young age that they can never censor Paula. I was that rebellious kid with a loud mouth. I am gonna say what I'm gonna say. I grew up a tomboy, so I was not the normal typical guy you put in the kitchen and
Right.
train her to be a wife or whatever. I was none of that. I was loud. I like they knew they just had to let me be. But I also am aware that the things I do put out might affect my family since they are in the government. So I try to be sensitive towards that. So when I wanted to start life with Paula, when I first realized about my depression, I did have to have a conversation with my dad, because I was life with Paula was starting on Instagram, and then we ended up creating a support group on WhatsApp. So I did have a conversation with my dad, and I was like, Dad, listen, I'm dealing with depression, and I feel like the only way for me to heal is to start having these conversations, which means that I will be putting my business out there, which means that it might be used on you guys, and I don't want that, but I also want to do what's best for me. And my dad was, do what you gotta do. So
Okay.
I'm grateful for that. He was really very supportive. And the first live I did, he was even on the comments telling me, language, please.
Oh no.
Mind you, I learned to be this language from my father. And then now, he gets older, he starts cleaning his act, and he's like, oh, now you gotta clean your act. I'm like, well, you are 20 years ahead of me, so give me time. But it was, it turned out to be very good, because then when I did that first live and people started pouring in, the WhatsApp group had like 30 people, and some of them were my friends. One of them was my cousin, who was my close friend, who I found out almost tried to kill herself.
Oh
But
no.
again, because these are things we don't talk about, the family was hiding it. And hiding it doesn't help, because you're not getting her help. You're making her feel ashamed about something that she didn't have control over, instead of actually allowing her to speak on it so she can get better help and be around people who know how to be with her. So in that group, all these things were coming out, and seeing some of my friends dealing with things, and I missed it. Like I didn't know. That was one of the painfulest things. And I went and I told my dad, and my dad was like, well, then keep doing it. You can't stop now. And that support group was like, when I look at all of those people right now, where they are and what they're doing, and one time some of them came to me and they're like, Paula, because you started this, you gave us the strength to go on. And it wasn't that we did anything for each other. It was just that we had a safe space for people to talk without being told, oh, it's gonna be okay, oh, at least you have this. Like, people really just listened and checked in. And sometimes all people want is just to be listened. I don't want an advice. I just want you to hear me.
Just hear you, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm grateful that I my dad gave me a go ahead and was like, do what you gotta do. And I'm grateful that my mom really doesn't give a fuck like that to tell me no. But trust me, if she does hear things, she doesn't she's not on my socials, unlike my dad. My dad follows me everywhere. Sometimes it's
That's
so
good.
annoying. But my mom is not on socials, and I doubt she listens to my podcast. So, but I feel like if she did hear some of the things, she would have been like a proper African mom. But my dad is cool. He has even been on my podcast to share about raising me. Me and him were invited to another podcast together as a father-daughter duo to talk about our relationship and depression. And even the fact that my dad also came out to me, I was like, I also deal with depression. And I go, so it was like, and these are conversations you need to know. Like,
Yeah.
our parents also have mental health struggles, but we look at our parents like healers. They can't do anything, but we need to also be there for them in their mental struggles, just as they need to be there for us. So have those conversations with your people. You never know who's struggling.
That is true. Because like a lot of things like I don't really share, obviously on the show because I'm like I don't need that kind of scrutiny or like just people just kind of keep asking me questions about things and I'm like let me just be me for a moment. I'm gonna be my hermit. I'll throw out an episode that I pre-recorded from a live show, throw it up on the RSS feed. I got things to do. But so having those moments, I understand because podcasting is a lot, and you produce yours weekly. I do mine weekly, but I do several episodes a week, and it's a
Well, when you say several episodes a week, what do you mean?
oh, so I do a pre-recorded show like this one, and then obviously I do the chop up with edits and everything like that. So I throw those out for the socials. Then I have an AI episode that comes out after that does like so it's like an AI summary episode, like 20 minutes or so that
Okay.
comes out before I release the next episode on the next Tuesday. But then I do also a live show every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. So because of that
Oh
live
yeah, you do a
show,
lot.
yeah, that's what a lot of people say. They was like, "You really don't have kids, do you?" I was like, "No," 'Cause- but I because of the feedback and people who actually listen to the show that find value in either the topics that I'm talking about, how can I help them? This is the reason why I do it. In my live shows is where I'm actually testing out features, testing out things, and streamlining my processes and seeing how I like those.
I
To
love your live shows. I try to catch them as much as I can.
I appreciate it, because it's one of the things is just like it's Thursday night, Friday Eve, whatever you want to call it. Let's end the week out strong, have a good Friday, and just kind of get people in positive mood before the weekend starts. And that's really my goal.
Yeah, you should start bringing back the round tables again. I enjoy
Oh,
the round tables when you had different people on a conversation. I feel like because I'm thinking about putting talk show with Pete to bed, and trust me, I've gotten a lot of hate from that and Podfest everybody because one thing. Um, Podfest was my last speaking gig. I don't want to speak again. Not this year.
I feel you.
And then I was talking about putting talk show with Pete to bed and not coming to Podfest next year. And people are like, Paula, we're tired of this. What is going on with this last final? Like, fuck the shit. We're not doing this. but But I feel like if I ever bring it back or something, it will be like round tables. I like having different perspective in one table
Yeah,
and different objections and learning from people at the same time. But it also, it what sucks about it is people don't get as much time because if you have
that's it.
you're trying to put it under an hour or something, but you also want everybody to have a pointer. It should be like either one question or two questions. But however much you prepare, people don't understand about podcast conversations. I normally have. questions, right? Just so that I can remember in case we sidetrack, because you get sidetracked. And I have those must ask questions and those questions just in case there's still time. And then sometimes you just go into different segment and you're like, you know what, this is much more better than the questions I had. And then the next thing you know, time is gone and you really haven't hit in other spots. So imagine when you have the round table and everybody's kind of like that's the only bad part I hate about round tables, but I really love them.
Yeah, and I guess you could say because it's a difference between being a guest and being a host. Because hosting them, I'm like, yo, I got like 8 questions, and I maybe get through 5. That's it. Because everything goes off the rails, and it's which is good, but also it depends on how big the round table is. And sometimes an hour is not long enough.
It isn't.
Yeah. So if you're
You
gonna
have
bring
just
one,
one
let me know.
one guest and the conversation is so good, 1 hour can feel like 30 minutes. And then you have that guest where you have to pull everything, where 30 minutes feel like an hour. It's like,
You
but
know
I also
exactly it.
realize, and that's why I'm kind of putting my podcast, like, I am going to finish season 9. I'm not going to promote it as much. I'm going to dump all the lives episodes I've already picked out yesterday. The lives that I did, I want to bring them to RSS feed. I want to end Talk Show with you with 10 season. The plan was to record the season 10 at Podfest, but boy, did I not even have time to record. I always tell myself I
No.
record live when I'm conferences, but I'm always doing too much. At Podfest, I do way too much that I do not have a time to do anything, so I wasn't able to do that. But maybe I might do the season 10 in round tables, but like instead of 4 5 people, like 2 3, that way it goes. But also I've realized I enjoy being a guest more than being a host.
Yes, it's a lot. I trust me. I understand. I get it because being
Unless I
a
have a
guest.
team. Unless I have a team, if I just show up and be a host and record, and then the team does everything, I
Yeah.
can be a host. But the host who also does everything, fuck the shit.
I get
Understand
it.
how exhausting podcasting is. People think only it's so much fun, all these things, but the back end, the editing, the marketing, the promoting, the getting it out there on time,
On time.
the design, the consistency, like it is a lot. And that's just a person who's just doing one show a week.
Yeah.
You have all this other shit as well, like baby.
I mean, I what else I do? I mean, yeah, so I do help people on the side who are beginner podcasters. I help people with their finances. So yeah, I build out the cycles and schedule everything. I mean, that's the only thing. If I didn't have a scheduler, a lot of this stuff wouldn't happen. Because I tried before.
How do you use? Like
I
what
use
tool do you use?
I use Calendly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's work.
They don't have a referral code, so I'm like, hey, whatever, just get it. And I highly recommend them.
Emailing them, you never know. Sometimes I tell people
Oh,
all it
okay.
takes is a conversation. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean they don't have it, or if you might be the one who makes them bring it, because a conversation. I always tell people, shoot your shot, like knock in there, just send an email. Hey, I'm using this a lot, by any chance do you guys have? You never know. Even if they say no, you're already on a no, so what's there to lose?
Yeah, that is true. Because I didn't realize, like, have you ever got people that say, like, I'm so afraid to ask you. I've been afraid to ask you to be on your show or something like that because, like, how as much as that you do, and they was like, oh, I didn't even know. Or have you ever had that happen?
Oh no, I get too many people wanting to come talk shit with me. I think uh, the thing with me is because my podcast is called Talk Shit with Peace. So everybody, when they hear the name, the first thing is, I want to talk shit with you. Okay, but it's not really a kind of like just come in and talk shit kind of podcast. So I get that. And that's one thing I used to fear when I started podcasting. I was like, where will I get the guests from? And now I have too many guests, too many people. They're like, people constantly want to be on my show, because the structure of my show used to be I would take a break, like December to January, I'll be on a break, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
Christmas, I'll put out the last episode December closer to Christmas, and then I'll take the remainder like that time off in January because I always know there's Sport Fest. I'm never coming back in January, so the episode starts in February. But I start recording in January. So what I normally do in my break, I always take 2 months break. The one
Nice.
month is for me to just really relax and not worry about podcasting and just do other things that I need to get together for my podcast. And then the second month I do I do my recordings because in that 1 month of relaxing, I researched what theme I want for this season, what type of guest I want. I've already reached out to the guests and they've scheduled and all that. So then the second month is I record. I know every season I have 15 guests. I record. So
Nice.
when I come back, the episodes are already ready. I do not have no recordings. All I have to do is every Wednesday make sure. But also I hate editing. So sometimes I know a episode is supposed to come out on Wednesday morning. I'm editing like on Thursday late night,
Yep.
sitting up at 2, 3 a.m. to make sure I sit out by 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Because I suck. So kudos to people who record and edit right after recording. I want to be like you guys when I grow up.
Mm,
But me, as soon as I finish recording, I'm like, peace out. Until next time, like I forget about it. So when the episodes are going and then people are coming to me, I want to be on your podcast. I'm like, you gotta wait until the next season. But then the next season, if I have a theme that you don't fit in, I'm not
mm,
gonna have you. So I had a problem of too many people wanting to come talk shit.
got
And
you.
even now, like when I've said it's ending, a lot of people like, oh no, I haven't talked shit with you yet. You can't end it. You can't end it. I'm like, well, on season 10, guys, I'm sorry. And I do have a lot of people who I want to bring on, but I'm like, I also don't want to kind of prolong it. I want to end Talk Shit with Pin season 10. And then maybe I have a plan to rebrand it like how Decisions did from Horrible Decision to Decision.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to rebrand it very different. But that's a whole other maybe in 27 we're in 2025, next year is 2027, like because
Okay.
next year I do not want to do podcasting at all for a while.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things about podcasting is like this. It's almost like I want to stop, but I don't want to stop. Mostly because it's like I enjoy meeting new people, and some people I haven't had a chance to really sit down. And this is really the longest that we ever got to sit down because when we in real life events, there's so many people asking for either your attention or asking for my attention, and then we get turned away, and it was like, all right, cool, I'll see you tomorrow. Like that's how bad it is in these
Yeah.
events. So having those moments, I think it's really good, and I appreciate you coming through today to kind of share that because we have a lot of things that we've went over. But one of the things I do, there's still two more segments of the show. So this third segment is talking about your future. So like, what skills or habits that you feel is going to take you to the next level?
Well, believe it or not, my loud ass talking shit mouth. Cause one thing, a lot of people keep telling me how funny I am, right? And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, there's a difference between being funny with your friends because you're just talking shit and they just find it funny, and then going on the stage and making people actually laugh. But for some reason, even though I tell them don't show up to mine, they always show up to my talk. And literally they will enter. So even this when I was doing my last talk at Podfest, right? They Mike literally texted me 9:20, right? And it was literally 9:15 at that time, and I was getting ready to get on the stage. I was like, yes, but no, like Ida. And as I was getting on the stage, I see them walking with their breakfast because it was 9 o'clock in the morning, and sit at the back, and I'm like, oh God, why are you here? And then Joe was like, we don't go to talks, right? But for you, we have to come. I'm like, why are you wasting your 5 precious minutes? You don't need to. They're like, no, Paula, I don't know why you're scared to speak, but you were actually good. I was like, cool. So then the comedy was on Saturday, and they're like, "We're coming to the comedy." I was like, "Please don't come. Please don't come." They're like, "Paula, this is your first time doing a comedy show. We are fucking coming." And Joy is looking at me like, "Paula, I'ma laugh so loud because you're my girl, whether you're funny or not. But if you're not funny, as soon as you get off the stage, I'ma tell you, don't quit your job, okay? Don't ever do this, and don't ever put us to this again." I'm like, "Cool, just as long as you laugh while I'm on stage." So I was nervous as fuck because I did not practice at all. I wrote it up, but I did not practice. And I started practicing an hour before, and me and this girl, we were practicing together. And as I was timing myself, because you have 3 minutes, I kept on ending at 1 minute because I was talking too fast. Like I still had 1 minute, and I was like, "Damn, how is this gonna work?" So I started getting like, "Man, fuck it, I'm a cancer, I'm not gonna show up." By my head, I'm like, Joe and Mike are gonna kill me. And everybody was coming there. "Oh, Paula is doing comedy, we are coming to see Paula." So people were literally coming. I'm like, I can't do this. And last year, because I was supposed to do it last year, but I was late to pick a number because I was getting awarded, and Mike hated me because we stayed through the end of it because Mike thought I was still doing it and was like, "I was here for," so I was waiting for you to go on stage. I'm like, "Oh, my bad." So I was like, "I'm not going to do that again to them." So I got on the stage, and I ended up pivoting because the person who got off the stage was Kim and was talking about Gangnam Style. So I was like, "Oh, this is a nice entryway." With me being Tanzania, I'm like, "Yeah, people who ask me, are you from Africa?" No, Africa is a continent, not a country, people. And I do not know that friend of yours from West Africa because I'm from East Africa. Right. We don't all know each other just because we're African. So I started with that. So in my head, I'm thinking, oh, now that, because you remember, because I couldn't do it for one, I was still left with, I mean, I'm like, since I added this, which wasn't part of it, I will. But boy, wasn't I able to finish my set because the 3 minutes, like, they rolled up fast, but I was still able to. I watched and I closed it out, but I missed a few things. But when I got out, because we had comedians also who came, because the night before there was an actual comedy show. Mm-hmm. So the comedians were there. Jacob was there, who even used me as part of his closing line. I was like, okay. So everybody was like, "Yo, Paula, that was fucking amazing." Wow. Like, you were funny. Like, we really like enjoyed. Even Joe was like, "Yeah, okay, like let's get you into comedy now." So okay. Shout out to Steve, shout out to Jeff Drosky, who was helping me. Even Steve was like, "Paula, now I can take you as a client." I'm like, "Now I can even pay you to teach," because I wanted to make sure first I know if I can actually do this before starting paying people to. But now, even if y'all are telling me I am good, even Jacob was like, "You just gotta learn how to speak slower because you have an accent, and people need, in order to understand, you kind of need to slow down. You speak very fast." I was like, I get that. Maybe that's why the 3 minutes when I was timing myself was going fast. So I guess my future is in comedy, and that's why I'm kind of really ready to let go of podcasting. Even though, as you say, podcasting was, I love the people you meet and the conversations you have. You don't have these normal conversations you have on podcasts, on in real life, on street. Like, sometimes you get lucky, yes, but when you're interviewing somebody or getting interviewed, you have a different type of connection, conversation that just goes deeper than you expect. And I feel like comedy is kind of the same way, because you get to connect with people even though you're talking. And literally, I was talking about dating apps and shit, like I was talking about, but you still connect to people because there is somebody out there who really feels what you're going through, and it just connects. So anything that brings connection, I'm a sucker for connection, and I feel like that's the void I have. And that's why these days the people who are in my life have to mean something. Like, I don't care if we've known each other for long. If there's no that connection, if we are not healing each other's soul, you gotta go, baby. I'm sorry. So anything, my future is consisted of comedy and just connecting with people. As I said, I'm planning on leaving America this year, and I feel like my life is just about to start. Like the future is unknown, and I kind of like it like that. But I know comedy is part of my future.
Nice. Well, I appreciate you taking time out, to come through the show to really share that because sometimes we don't know what we don't know until we try. And that's why I always laugh when they say, "Oh, this person is the best in the world." I was like, "Did everybody get a chance? Did everybody
Exactly.
try?" Like,
By
no.
what circumstances? And so like questioning the norms when they say, "Oh, you can't do this." Who said I can't do this? Why can't I do this? Like we need to question more shit. And if we stop worrying about what people say or anything, do the damn thing. And I feel like a lot of people, even this goes out to any podcaster out there who's feeling frustrated or thinks like podcasting is supposed to be the get rich scam. You can get rich in with podcasting in different ways,
Mm,
which is connections, opportunities, the doors that it opens you into.
so
Like
many.
the relationship I have with the Moped boys, it wouldn't have happened without podcasting. Like those boys have become part of my family in ways that I can't even explain. Like legit, when I'm sick, like right now, they've constantly been bothering me. All three of them in different levels. One is messaging on Instagram, one on Facebook, one on group chat. It's like, okay, I get it. Y'all love me, but leave me alone. But it's the people who come into your life and the opportunities that bring. So podcasting itself might not bring you money, but it might also open doors. Like people figure out they prefer being speakers, and some get paid to speak. And it all
Yeah.
started because of podcasting. People like me, I'm getting into comedy. I wouldn't have if it wasn't for podcasting. So there's all these ways than just one of being successful with your podcast. Can I say my podcast is successful? Fuck yeah. Not because it has brought me money, not because of the downloads I have, but all the fucking opportunities. Yeah, I won an award at Podfest. I became a governor at Podfest to the extent where Chris literally tells me, Paula, do whatever the fuck you want as long as we don't get in trouble. Like, this is the guy who runs the,
That is awesome.
you know, to trust me like that. Moped boy, at one point, the amount of credit they gave me for Moped, I was myself like, are you fucking kidding me?
Mm.
Like this. So there's yesterday, the other day, I got a message from somebody who I've known at Podfest, and they're like, "I'm extending my team. Are you interested for a talk?" And I'm like, "Sure, let's talk." I got a job from a person who I met at Podfest. So there's always other all these amazing things that my podcast has brought to me more than money could ever do. So
Yeah. That's amazing.
question when that question of when you think about wealth, ask me that question.
Okay, well, that's actually the first question. So, ready? So, you have anything before we dive into the final four?
Yeah, I felt like I was going in that direction.
It's okay.
I'm
Uh,
taking over the job.
I know, right? Take over my whole show. Like, you don't even need to be here. Just run the whole show, Paula. Just you got this, okay? Apparently. So anyway, you have anything before we dive into the final four questions of the show?
um Damn, that was loud. Excuse me. um Go subscribe to Talk Show with P, because I'm fucking the best, because I said I'm the fucking best.
Hey,
Now I want to say, earlier you talked about how you kind of met me, so I wanna give you your pros as well. I've seen you do your thing.
oh, thank you.
I've watched you at podcast movement. I've watched you at Afros. I've watched you at Fin Condemn. We were everywhere last
Yeah,
year.
last year was a lot. It was a lot.
I don't even know how we did that shit. What I can say is, don't let nobody dim your light, because in this industry, the so-called gurus have a way of making people seem less than because of their so-called guruness. But you me by watching you, I admire your work ethic, how you move, how you run your podcast, and how you stand up for your shit. So keep doing your shit. I am proud of you. And I wouldn't be jumping into your lives every now and then if I really didn't. Like, I'm sorry. I don't listen even to podcasts, let me tell you something. Like, I don't I'm the I'm a podcaster who hates listening to podcasts. Like, and that's why once a month I'll do a post on Facebook and be like, drop your favorite episode, let me go listen to it and leave you a review. Because otherwise, baby, unless it is the blessed word, shout out to Dominic and Kendra who do amazing job with that. That became a pill because it was kind of like a therapy podcast for me. And lately also Jenna's episode podcast, Big Lash Energy. I just love how she talks and shares raw truth. I still miss certain episodes, but apart from really those, I don't be even, no offense, Mopad will tell you I don't listen to their Friday night karaoke, but when they are live on Facebook, I will jump and watch and support and I will share, and they're my boys and I love them. Sometimes they'll even be like, well, have you listened to this episode? I'm like, no, why? Go listen to it. I'm like, why? Shut up, go listen. They'll have my glasses with my, I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much. I should have listened before y'all told me. But I suck at that, but I find ways to still support in the ways I know. And that's why I tell people, even if you don't listen to podcasts, there's different ways you can support your podcasters. You can share it. Just because you don't listen to it doesn't mean the people in your circle won't listen to it. You can like it, you can go review it. At least I try to listen at least one episode of somebody and go leave a review. That's all it takes. Like, so it's not always about money or constantly listening. It's all these other ways. So I just want to tell you, keep doing your thing. I'm proud of you, and you're the damn shit. You're the fucking best. All about the what.
I appreciate you, Paula. I mean, you have really lit a fire up under me on, like, just kind of be excited about what you do versus like, yes, I get to do this, but you actually help me understand on why I do this and to actually get excited about it again. Because, this does drain on you a bit. Sometimes you're like, man, if you start looking at the analytics, it will kill your joy. But I'm excited about every episode that I put out. So it's like, this is it.
Comparison is a thief. Like, when you sometimes I used to do it and I stopped. I would look like, oh, you've only been podcasting for a year and you have 10K, and I've been podcasting for 4 years and I'm only on this. So when you think about that, it does kill you and might make you question yourself. But then one thing I learned also is to be like, even if you have 50 downloads on an episode, that's 50 fucking people are listening. Even if you have one, that's one person who took time out to listen. And that's why it's always good to remember your why. Like, when you know why you're doing it, the numbers shouldn't matter. None of that shit should matter. Keep following your why, and eventually it will come. I'm a firm believer in, as long as you keep making yourself great, like, you can compare to others if you just want to be great, like people who you admire and you're like, I want to be as good as them, and just to learn to get yourself better, that's fine. But if you're comparing why they're doing it and this, no, because you end up losing yourself because you're constantly be copying them instead of learning from them. There's a difference between copying somebody and then failing, or learning from them. Just because that shit worked for them doesn't mean it's going to work for your podcast, but you can learn to implement how it can work for your podcast, and that's where we need to be. And I always remember my why. So most of the time when I really want to give up, and I've had so many times where I've wanted to give up on podcasting and everything, and then I'll get that one review or one inbox, thank you for this, it really helped me, this, thank you for, and I remember this is the reason I'm doing it. But also my podcast has been also therapeutic for me. The conversations I've had have helped me heal, have helped me learn to be a better me, or realize my growth. Because sometimes I'll be listening to somebody, I'm like, damn, I would have hanged up on you right now. But because I'm a better me right now, I'm going to listen and I'm going to just agree to disagree. Because it's okay to agree to disagree. You don't all have to be on the same page. Because just because it worked for them and you don't believe it doesn't mean it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes we get into that mindset, and it's all about changing your mindset, which I'm constantly learning. It's not an easy thing, because once you're like that, trust me, sometimes I really want to go off and I'm like, Paula, if you go off, you're going 5 times behind of the growth of what you've been doing. Is it better? And sometimes when I go off, that means I'm disrupting my peace. I'm very much these days into being at peace and creating a peaceful space for me. So I just be blind to that shit. And that's okay.
Yeah. All right. So ready for the final 4?
Yeah, baby.
Alrighty. Number 1, what does wealth mean to you?
So to me, wealth means peace. Believe it or not, I don't want to be rich, but I do want to be financial. What's the word? Financial
Independent.
Yeah, I want to be able to live a simple life. I'm not a person who likes designer shit or anything, but I love traveling and experiencing new things and enjoying the world and eating good food and drinking good alcohol and being in good restaurants. That's my thing. Like, you give me 10,000 to go buy a Louis Vuitton bag, I'ma go spend it in different restaurants and eat good food. Like my Uber bill knows every time I get a paycheck, I have to order myself a good ass meal from that Uber, and then the rest goes everywhere else. So for me, wealth is peace. I feel like when you have peace, you have wealth, because people assume that you can be wealth is being so rich, but then if you don't have peace, what's the point?
I like that. All right, number 2. What was your worst money mistake?
Oh, baby, how many times? There's no one. We can write a whole book of Paula's money mistake. But I feel like the biggest one should be when I first came to America and I didn't know shit about credit score, and all these credit cards decided to give me credit cards, and I had like 4 5 with different shit. And in the beginning I was doing good, I was new, I was decorating, I was traveling, and then eventually I got lazy into paying back that shit, and then they just piled up, and then now you learn, oh, your credit score goes down, or now you can't get anything on credit and shit. So I think that was, and ever since then I have not had a credit card, and I've lived in this space where if I can't afford it by cash with my debit, I can't afford it. We will work hard and find it. Like, I literally got a credit card last week. I don't know why they sent it to me.
Did you apply for it? I mean,
I did or not. Fidelity, please answer me. Why did you send me? Fidelity Investment. Why did you send? And especially since I cashed out my 401k and then they sent me a credit card, so I don't know what was going on. Which I'm also not sure if I did the right thing cashing out my 401k, but I also don't really give a fuck right now with my financial situation. Everything is just like, but that was probably the biggest mistake, and I thought, and which started pissing me off with my friends, because they would make plans on expensive places or anything, like, and I would say I'm not going. They'll be like, "Why? Put it in your credit card." I'm like, "That's the point. I don't have a credit card, and I even if I did, I'm not putting something on my credit card for your amusement. So
Mm,
no." And I've stood by that. Even with this credit card, I'm very strategic with it. It has come in time where, as I said, I'm getting ready to leave and stuff, so it might help with moving shit or whatever. But I, yeah, fuck credit cards.
okay. Number 3. Is there a book that inspired your journey or changed your perspective?
Oh my God, yes, and I can't find that book. Pope Francis, what's the name of that book? Maybe I should go find the email that I responded to.
Okay.
Let's go to the last one and then I'll come back to this.
All right.
Hold on, let me.
You're talking about some edits. I got you though.
You got this.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, you ready for number 4 then?
Yes.
Okay. Number 4. What is your favorite dish to make?
Any type of pasta. Like I am a pasta freak. Like I love pasta. Pasta and potatoes are my go-to food,
Mm-hmm.
my soul food. But I like playing because pasta you can play around with different, like Alfredo or uh just add up shit and make it something, like whichever spaghetti. And it doesn't just necessarily have to be pasta, like it can be those elbows, whatever, like the spaghetti corner, the entire it, I just love playing around with it, and especially with seafood. So I create my own recipes. Sometimes I'll look online and see, oh, this, but I'm gonna turn it this way. So anything pasta.
Okay. Sounds good. Alrighty. Well, as we come through the very last question of the show, which is where could people find out more about you?
All right. So you can find me anywhere and everywhere at Talk Shit with P. I'm very active on Instagram. Um, I will respond to Instagram DM than an email. But also in the few months, I really do want to disappear out of social media.
Okay.
So I might be a little bit quiet in the coming few months on social media, but you can find me anywhere at Talkshowipi.
Okay. I still take you looking for the book.
Oh, give me 1 second.
No. You can.
Now that we're done, oh my God.
Well, I mean, once you get that, I just gotta do my closeout stuff, and then if you want, I can just do a closeout right now. And then when you find,
Because you can just
okay,
edit this.
yeah. I ain't gonna
I'm
show
going
your
to
face.
mute myself.
Okay.
That way I find.
All right. Well, hopefully you got something out of this particular episode. We had an awesome opportunity to talk with Paula. Talk shit with P. Definitely check out her podcast, and she has so many great value out of it. Now, if you're one of the people who are actually dealing with depression and you feel as though this is something that you might just need some help, some immediate help, you can just dial 988 so that you can go ahead on and get that help today. But one of the things I just want to let you know, like, hey, if you ever need somebody to talk to, or if there's a topic that you want me to kind of go through, just go ahead on and shoot me a DM at About That Wallet on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. Or even just respond to one of the episodes or actually respond to this episode in the show notes. Let me know. Because one of the things that I am curious about is like, how can we help you build a better relationship with yourself and also with your money? So with that, everybody, I wish y'all the best. We out. Peace.
All right. Ask me that question about the book again. I found it.
Okay. Well, make sure I got because I got my little notes. Okay. Number 3. Is there a book that inspired your journey or changed your perspective?
Yes, that will be The Name of God is Mercy by Pope Francis. That was a very good read. It stays with me until today, and I might just order another the book, the copy right now on Amazon, because I might need to read it again.
Yeah, it'll be probably good for your journey, I guess.
It
Yeah.
is indeed.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna edit stuff. So I know what to edit. All right. Cool.
Oh
All right.
wow, we spoke for 1.5 hours.
Oh, gee. I know it's been recording that long, but I'm sure we only, yeah, it's been about that long. All right. It's fine.
It's been recording that long, but that's how long we've been talking.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna try to keep it as raw as possible. Obviously, at the end, move some things around, but my audience do enjoy the long episodes because they do have long drives where they listen to the show when they go on flights and stuff like that. So, but like I said, I do have an AI episode that would do a summary of all of this for like 10 minutes. So,
The AI comes out and this one comes out, and I will make sure to share it, promote it. Is there anything you need from my end?
no, if you haven't already subscribed to the show on Spotify, like, or, do you listen to Spotify or Apple?
What if I fuck up even though I have Apple? I mean, I just enjoying Spotify, but I normally go leave reviews on Apple. But yeah,
Okay. Yeah, if you can just leave a review, that would be helpful for me.
I every time I always wait until the episode comes out, and then I listen to it, and then I write a review. Because whenever I guest, I write a review as being a guest, but also as you being the host.
I like that. Okay. I need to go back to some of mine that I've been guessed on. I like that. So yeah, if you ever need me to, well, that's right. You're already locked in and you're probably not doing anymore anytime soon. You're more than welcome to come on a live panel.
Yeah, when I figure out what I'm doing season 10, because these episodes, I'm putting them up they're gonna start going out from next week, and by March they'll be done. So I feel like season 10, because I want to end it this year, so I feel like I will work on that and start it maybe around, because the project I'm working on right now, let me see.
Yeah, you gotta remove the filter, that's all.
Yeah, let me remove my background.
Oh, let me stop the recording. Hold on. Stop recording.